My husband, Jake. The one man that I could truly trust. Well, it turns out he wasn't so trustworthy because I caught him and his mistress, Amanda, behind my back, and it hurt me to the core. But then I discovered something else about Amanda, which just made me realize that I had to do something about her. I had to stop her. I had to make her realize I'm the boss. 15 years of love, dedication, and a shared dream lay shattered before me, crumbling into a million fractured pieces. I've always been a devoted wife to Jake, and now I stand on the precipice of heartbreak and betrayal. My whole life is flashing before my eyes. All the highs and lows we have lived together. Well, our wedding, the first house we've bought, and the beautiful birth of our 2 children. I never expected such a heinous act from him. Jake keeps himself busy as we grew older. He's becoming more and more calm, but isn't every man like that after an age? So, I never questioned him. I just always assumed his financial success was the testament enough to all the long business trips and being tired and distant. Until 3 months ago, when a photograph changed 3 lives. I need to ask you guys, what would you have done if you were in my place? Let me start back from the heinous day of my life. My world was turned upside down on what appeared to be an ordinary day. I've been meaning to clean the attic for the past few months now, but we had so much junk. Well, Jake had all the junk. Anyways, after the kids left for school and Jake went to work, I decided to take on the task. I went to the attic and began sorting through boxes from Jake's office. The veil of deception was lifted and I discovered evidence of Jake's infidelity. I found a photo from 2013, the year our second angel, Ruby, was born. When I saw a photo of Jake and Amanda on a beach, my heart clenched and tears streamed uncontrollably. I know you might be wondering, how much can a photo tell? But I could tell. This was the same beach resort where Jake and I got married in '08, 15 years ago, and since then we've always talked about going back there one day for a second honeymoon. But life happened. We had to make a decent living, and Jake always had big dreams. A big house with 2 beautiful kids. We had our first baby, a boy, 3 years after our marriage. Initially, Jake was on cloud 9. He rushed back home from work to play with Sam and take him for long walks every evening. Everything seemed dreamy, and exactly 2 years after Sam, we had Ruby. We got all of our dreams fulfilled. We were a family of 4. But all the new moms out there know how difficult it is to raise 2 children. I used to be exhausted all the time. I was never in the mood to sit and talk or have a glass of wine with Jake like we used to. I just never had the time. This took a toll on our marriage. Maybe we were not ready for the added responsibility of a second child. We started fighting a lot and misunderstood each other, and all the time it happened. Jake just wanted some time for himself, and I always felt that he never tries to understand how difficult it was to manage 2 children. Once we planned to spend a cozy evening together, and he informed me he will come home early. He got me flowers and a nice bottle of wine, and was excited to be finally away from the domestic chaos and just being together. But when he came home, he found me sleeping. We had a bad fight the next morning. I'm sorry, Jake. Why didn't you wake me up? I want you to be with me. I don't want to force anything on you, and I don't understand. What happened to you? I got a nanny for the kids, so you can have an extra hand around. And I expect you to be patient with me, honey. You'll never understand how a new mother feels. A nanny can't do anything for my kids. Just leave, Jake. Maybe you can go on a vacation with your buddies and take some time away from the home. It'll do us both good. That's when Jake started burying himself in his business. He used to be away more and more on business trips, and it honestly works better for me. If he was not around, there was peace in the house. After a few months went by, he started going out of town regularly, once every month, but He would return happy, and when he was home, he would spend quality time with the kids and myself, so I never questioned it. Whatever was keeping Jake happy, I let it go. For me at the moment of the time, my family and peace were much more valuable. Often, while doing laundry, I would smell it. Female perfume on Jake's clothing. I tried asking him, but he just shut me down, saying he's around so many females on a daily basis due to work. It's nothing. I reminded myself that our journey had been one of building a life together, weaving the threads of our love into a tapestry of success. 2 beautiful children, a flourishing business, and a home filled with laughter were the fruits of our labor. So I trained myself to ignore these signs. But, as life often does, it had a way of weaving darkness into the brightest of days. And the day I found the picture of devastation clawed at my soul, threatening to consume me. The man I had loved unconditionally had betrayed our vows, our commitment to one another. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but I refused to let it define me. I rushed downstairs to our storeroom where the picture in my hand, I had to confirm one last thing for myself. I frantically started looking for a box. Everything in my head fell apart, and all the memories were flashing by, just like my hands were shivering and throwing everything down from the shelves to find one last strand of evidence that was rusting in the box. Well, I discovered the box. It's an old album box. I took out a 2013 album and began turning the sheets as if my life depended on it. Yes. That's her? Oh my gosh, that's her? I can't believe it. How evil can people get? It's Amanda, Joseph's former wife. Is Joseph aware that his best friend is cheating with his ex-wife? My stomach clenched. I need to take a seat first. My mind can't take it anymore. I'm feeling a little crappy right now. I'm lying in my bedroom holding both photographs, and I discovered one photograph of Amanda and Jake in the attic. Another photograph from our old album that I discovered was of Amanda and Joseph. Jake went on a trip with 4 friends back in 2013. One of them was Joseph, Jake's best friend. I'm guessing they met Amanda for the first time there, however. Back then, Amanda was having an affair with Joseph, and they got married while on vacation. I know all this because Jake was the one who told me after they returned from their trip and showed me the picture of Amanda and Joseph together. We invited Joseph and Amanda, the newlyweds, for dinner only a month later. But Joseph arrived alone, explaining that it didn't work out because he made a mistake by rushing into a marriage. We never talked about this again, and a few years later, Joseph got married to his current wife and is happy with a child. I was shocked. Did Jake follow Amanda? Did he contact her after she got divorced? Or were they having an affair before she even got married? This mind-numbing riddle was getting to my nerves, and finally, summoning every ounce of courage, I confronted Jake, the man who shattered our world. I asked him out front, holding the picture in my hand for him to see. Sonia, honey. His face, a mask of guilt and remorse, confirmed that I already knew it. He confessed to a long-term affair with Amanda. My heart broke into a million pieces as his words echoed into my ears and the gravity of his betrayal sank in. Jake, what is wrong with you? When did all this start? Does Joseph know? Honey, please sit down. Please don't cry. I'll tell you everything, but before that, I want you to know I love you, and I'm very sorry. I wanted to tell you for as long as I can remember. But the thought of you leaving me, it kept my lips glued. I just want to know how long, Jake? How long? 8 years. Jesus, Jake, you're so sick. You're the worst person. I can't believe I loved you. My body started shivering. It felt like I was in a trance. The world was moving in circles and I was standing in the middle. I could see people laughing at my foolishness, and I could see my kids being bullied because of their cheating father. Suddenly, I realized Jake was snapping me out of it, furiously shaking my shoulder. And there I was, back into reality. Back to the man who destroyed everything and standing in front of me crying. I could not take it. I stormed out of the room. Jake followed me on the staircase, but I was in no mood to see his face. I got the keys and started driving. I didn't know where I was going, but I was determined to get away from that house. At this point, I was driving in the middle of nowhere. That's when I got a call from Ruby. She wanted me to drop her off at her friend's birthday party, and she pleaded with me to come because her father would be of no help while picking up her friend's birthday gift. My legs automatically went to the brakes and my car stopped when Ruby said, "Mom, come back, I need you." I banged the steering in anger, and my frustration came out. I started screaming loudly in the cry. Tears started flowing like an unstoppable mad river. I let it all out by crying hysterically for 15 minutes. I called back to Ruby and said, "Mama, we'll be there in a half hour, baby. Get ready." And I cut the phone call. I realized and decided one thing right there. Whatever happens between me and Jake, I cannot let my kids be affected because of it. The kids are my dream, my pride, and I won't let anything ruin their life ever. I stopped talking to Jake. Yeah, we live in the same house, but he sleeps in the guest room and promises to give me as much time as I need before we talk. Before he can even tell me how he met Amanda and how did we end up here. I could not sit back and do nothing. I tried searching for Amanda online. I wanted to see how and where she was. And to my total disbelief, Amanda's arrogance and blatant disregard for the sanctity of marriage were like salt in my open wounds. As I scrolled through her social media postings, my anger intensified to see her 2-year-old son. His name was Alex. Each photograph painted a picture of a blissful and complete family with my husband and a kid. It felt like a twisted reality, carefully crafted to provoke me. How dare she parades her conquest, flaunting her stolen happiness while tearing my life apart. Update number 1. I cannot believe my life has become like this. My happy family and faithful husband are nothing but a myth. A web of lies in which I'm lost. Last time I stalked Amanda on social media, it made me sick to my stomach. The pictures, the fake smiles, and the baby, I had to do something. So one fateful day, my curiosity consumed me. Unable to bear the weight of an uncertainty any longer, I decided to confront Amanda face to face. Summoning all of my courage, I found her address and drove to her house, fueled by rage and desperation. She lives in a small but lovely house on the outskirts of town. On her social media, I couldn't find any connections between us. That means no one knows anything about her. Her glorified social media revealed some information about her that I could conclude she's a villain with ulterior motives who flaunts Jake's money like a gold digger. She gives off the vibe of somebody who might enjoy everybody else's misery. As I stood behind her in the front door, my heart raced. With trembling hands, I rang that doorbell, unsure of what awaited me on the other side. Amanda answered, a surprised expression on her face, quickly replaced by a smug little smile. Well, 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 if it isn't the betrayed wife. I've come here to put an end to your deceit. And what deceit might that be? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been telling lies, flaunting your affair with Jake, while tearing my life apart. Oh, please. Jake picked me over you. He's happier now than he ever was. Well, my rage had reached a boiling point, and I could not let her dismiss my suffering any longer. So I tell her this. Yeah, you may have won him, but I will not let you bask in your victory. I won't stop until I reveal the truth. Amanda's confidence shook as she realized the extent of my determination. Her superiority mask simply broke, revealing a hint of vulnerability. But before I could press any further, she slammed the door in my face, refusing to engage in any further argument. A wave of emotions washed over me as I walked away from Amanda's door. I felt relieved to have confronted her, but I knew this was just the start of my battle. The hunt for the truth to expose their lies had only just begun. My determination grew strong with each step, fueled by the desire to teach both Amanda and Jake a lesson they would not forget. You see, Jake was not the father of Alex, the child Amanda claimed as her own and the foundation of her happiness. I knew it the moment I saw Alex's photo on Amanda's social media. I would know I had a son with this man after all. And anybody could have told you that Alex looked nothing like Jake. So my suspicion grew with each passing day, flag after flag of red. My conscience ate away at me, demanding the truth, no matter how painful it was, and as a result, I made the difficult decision to do it. Paternity test. Amanda was self-observed and oblivious to the reality she was living, that my heart broke and words were just an empty threat to her. She was living her life like nothing happened. That's where she was wrong. I gathered a DNA sample of Alex by simply bribing her nanny. The money, which Amanda's very proud of, will bring her downfall. The results are in, and I was correct. Alex was not Jake's child. I was still not talking to Jake, although he deserved it after all he's done. He keeps telling me how sorry he is, and he's aware that I met Amanda and Alex. We once crossed paths in the hollow place where we live, and I encouraged him to feel free to move in with Amanda if he so chooses. He just walked away defeated. I don't want to reveal these paternity results in some mundane manner. I wanted a grand revelation, a dramatic unveiling of their carefully planned fake life. This is when inspiration struck. I created a plan, a complex plan that would shock everybody involved. I made a fake invitation for a surprise birthday party for Amanda, meticulously planning it out, making sure that everybody close to us, including Jake and Amanda, would attend. The stage was set, and the unsuspecting players were about to step into the spotlight at this point. Jake and I were not even on talking terms, but I saw him leave the house by 4 in the evening. I got ready as soon as he left, and I reached the venue by 6. Laughter, chit-chat filled the room as the party progressed, masking the storm that was brewing beneath the surface that nobody could see. My hand shook as I handed Jake and Amanda a sizable, beautiful, wrapped gift box. Both of them froze, seeing me at the party. Sonia, what are you doing here? Asked Amanda in shock while Jake was looking at me with wide eyes, not believing how I was standing right here in front of him. I would not miss your birthday party for anything, Amanda. Please, I got you this beautiful gift for the both of you, just to wish you a thrilled life. They knew it. It was an impending storm, but it still showed in the innocent curiosity that shone in their eyes. With a steady voice that hid the turmoil within me, I asked them to open the gift together. The room fell into this hushed silence, and all eyes fixated on the unfolding drama. I held my breath, waiting for the reactions, and they tore away that wrapping paper, revealing the truth hidden within. It was the paternity test kit, a clear message that the life they had built under scrutiny was fake. Shock registered on their face, and their eyes widened in disbelief. Jake's voice trembled as he stammered, trying to make sense of it all. Amanda's eyes filled with tears and a mix of fear and desperation. The truth had finally caught up to them, and there's no place left to hide. At this moment, the room erupted into a chorus of gasping and whispers. Their friends and family exchanged glances, realizing they were witnesses to a monumental moment of betrayal. The weight of the truth hung heavy in the air that night, threatening to shatter the very foundations of their world. And as emotions ran high, the gravity of the situation sank in. There was no turning back. I looked at Jake's face and could not help but feel sorry. I had set the truth free, no matter how painful it was. I walked away with relief in my heart. Update number 2. Hey guys, Jake hasn't been home for several days. I believe anybody would need time to process what has been going on for a few months now. I gave both Jake and Amanda a difficult time at the party. Now, I wonder if I overdid it and it was a bit petty. I have a lot of hurt, and I've hurt a lot of people by exposing this truth. But to my surprise, I received a call from Joseph 2 weeks after the party. There are rumors in town about me, Jake and Amanda. This was unavoidable because of the show I put on for people, and Joseph was eager to speak. I'll be completely honest, I was convinced that no friend of Jake would want anything to do with me after what I've just done. In the evening, we met for tea. Joseph arrived with a disappointed expression on his face, and I knew something shocking was in store for me that day. After the previous 6 months, I was prepared for the worst. From the beginning of this, Joseph began telling me a story. The trip was in 1993. All the boys went to a club one night, and that's where we first saw Amanda. See, Amanda worked as a waitress in the club. She was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. Lovely long hair and eyes that could kill you just by looking into them. Turn you straight to stone. But much to my disappointment, she was immediately drawn to Jake. They spent the night together in the hotel room, but I was so in love with her that I could not stop thinking about her and went to the club the very next night. I mean, Sonia, we were all young, stupid, and in love. Right? I had to take a chance and ask her on a date. So we began dating during our 1-week stay, and I fell head over heels in love. By the end of our trip, Sonia, I had proposed to her. She said yes. After that, I told Jake about everything that happened, and he was simply delighted for me. He claimed he was never serious about her and revealed the truth about his marriage on the very first night. We married in front of my friends in a local church and flew back home. See, the problem begins between Amanda and me on the first day we returned to our home. She appeared uninterested in me and kept saying and asking, "Hey, honey, where does Jake live? Should we invite Jake and you, maybe to dinner?" It only took me a week to realize, Sonia, that Amanda never loved me. She married me in the hopes of remaining close to Jake and eventually seducing her way into your marriage. Marrying me, it was just a stepping stone into her evil plan to bring Jake into her life. I tried to talk to her about it and wanted to inform you both about the situation, but I never had the chance. Things quickly deteriorated, and we were discussing divorce shortly after the discussion. I was devastated. I could not believe this was happening to me, Sonia. I loved Amanda and desired to spend the rest of my days with her. But destiny, it had other plans. We divorced within a month, and I hadn't spoken to her since, and I had no idea where she went after we split up, or how she even reconnected with Jake. Update number 3. This is the final update posted by OP. Hey guys, a lot of people have been asking for this update, but it's been a month since I last saw Jake. When I heard all the more truth about Amanda and her intentions from Joseph, I thought of contacting Jake and letting him know, but my conscience stopped me from doing so. I wanted him to figure out the lie and betrayal on his own. And one day, Jake returned home today, nearly a month after leaving, and the kids were delighted to see him. I let him settle in without interrogating him so soon. I had a million questions in store for him, and I was determined to make him answer every last one. He asked if we could talk after we put the kids to bed, and, well, I needed answers immediately. I left Amanda. Jake, this was never about Amanda. You betrayed me. You made me go through hell, and you built your own family. How could you do this to me, to our dreams? I never loved her, Sonia. I've only loved you. What are you talking about? Jake started telling me the story of how all this began. He met Amanda again 8 years ago while on a business trip. She was working as a hotel employee where he stayed. She told him a tearful story about Joseph and how he was abusive from the start. And at the time, I and Jake were so far apart in our marriage. As a result, he fell into the trap of Amanda. She carefully set it out for him like a skilled hunter. He pleads he had no serious intentions towards her, and he just thought that we'd hang out a while and then return home to me and the children, like he did a few years ago. But at the end of this trip, she got pregnant. He got scared and could never bear the fact of us being apart, so he was a coward and did not tell me a word. He just kept the affair a total secret, and Amanda was pregnant at the time. He didn't want to leave her hanging. As a result, he bought her a small house on the outskirts of town. Deep into the confession is when Jake reveals to me that he never felt the same connection to Alex as he did to Sam and Ruby from the moment he was born. At first, he assumed it was because he didn't love Amanda, and Alex had nothing to do with it, but as time gently passed, his suspicions grew that maybe Alex was not his child. He says that he tried so many times in the last 8 years to tell me the truth, but the fear of losing me has always kept him from acting. At this point, I don't believe he might just be saying these words that I want to hear to get his life back. Tears started flooding into Jake's eyes, and I could see how tremendously scared he was for my next words. Jake, my husband of 15 years had harbored suspicions about Alex's paternity all along. The doubts had gnawed at him, festering beneath the surface of our life, but he never found the courage to confront Amanda and the woman who had torn our family apart. Amanda, once proud and arrogant, now stood broken and exposed. Her web of lies have unraveled, leaving her with nothing but her deceit to cling to. At the moment, she realized the extent of the damage she caused, the lives she shattered with her selfish actions, and the facade of her, quote, happy little family crumbled. It left behind a hollow emptiness that no amount of social media boasting could ever fill, and as the reality sank in, anger surged inside of me, fueling a fire I never knew I had. I had devoted my life to building a family with Jake, working tirelessly to create a home filled with love and stability. But all along, Amanda had been scheming, driven by a greed and a desire to possess what was never truly hers. All that came out of my mouth was, "Where are Amanda and Alex?" I don't know, Sonia. I don't care anymore. I came clean on her birthday and told her to leave the house immediately and promised to never see her face again, Sonia. She left the next morning, and I've not seen her or heard from her for the past month, I promise. Jake apologizes and says he's willing to wait as long as it takes for me to forgive him. And I need your assistance here, guys. How should I proceed? Amanda, like Alex, has left for good. I'll never know who Alex's father is, and I could not care less as long as my husband doesn't have any more children. What would you have done if this had happened to you? I mean, 8 years, that's a long time. He lied and led a false life for 8 years, depriving me of children, of a trustworthy partner and father. But I also watched him transform before my eyes. The pain and betrayal had left deep lines on his face, but in their wake had emerged a newfound strength and determination. He's becoming a more attentive partner, a better father, and a man who never took our love for granted again. I need your help to decide. Should I forgive him or no? So OP leaves us with the ultimate question. Should she forgive him or should she not? Now, Sonia, a lot of the commenters down below were saying how she desperately needs to leave this man because once a cheater, always a cheater. So I want to ask you guys one very specific question. Do you think Sonia should leave Jake? Tell me why in the comment section down below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's content. If you did, smash that like button. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories daily. Stories including inheritance dramas, mother-in-law dramas, Karen in the Wild stories, cheating stories. We try to cover a lot of different things, and I try to find every single update. If that interests you, go ahead and subscribe. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. I'll see ya.